special guest. Now, if you was a kid growing up and you remember G.I. Joe, I got my man Matt here, and he has his hands on everything involved in this game, man. So, yo, Matt, man, how you feel, man?
I'm feeling real good, thanks. Pretty excited to be on this strange webcam interview with you.
That's what I like about it. It's crazy, yo. But check this out. Alright, so we gonna get right into it because I know you on a time limit and everything. So we gonna get right into it. Now, one thing I have to say, which a lot of gamers would like to know, is that what would you guys have done better or differently if you had more time to work with this game? Because I understand the fact that when you're making a game, you got to make it on time with the release of the movie. So sometimes it could cramp your style. You know what I'm saying? So, in your personal opinion, after this game, since the game is out, what would you guys have done better or different?
Well, I think, first of all, you nailed it on the head, right? I mean, one of the big restrictions or requirements of making a game like this is that you have to come out on the date the movie comes out. Otherwise, there's a lot to lose for the organization, for the licensor, and for the fans as well. So it's critical that you get the games out on time. And what that means is that you have a very fixed window for development to get everything you want to get done. And if I had to pick one thing that I would wish that we had gotten into the game that we actually pursued for a while, would be online co-op play.
Wow, that would have been great, man.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, the game is built for, or is kind of tuned for that on-the-couch experience, so it's still really strong sitting two players in the same room. There's a lot of trash talking you could do. There's a lot of interacting with your buddy on the couch and coordinating different attacks to maximize your score and stuff, so there's plenty of value in that two-player on-the-couch experience sitting there together. But, I play on Xbox Live all the time. I play co-op games with my buddies, death matches and all. And it would just, it would have been nice to have that other experience with some online play. But there's some really good technical reasons why we couldn't do that, and we pursued it for a long time. And at a certain point, you have to decide whether you're going to keep your engineering talent working on a feature that may not get done and may not, or may compromise your single-player experience.
Okay.
Or you're going to cut bait on it and give yourself the best chance to make the best single-player game you can in time for the film. And as much as I would like to have that feature in there, I think, I've been on some teams and I've seen teams go down the path where they're working on it till the 11th hour and they cut it, and that's, a ton of engineering and art and everything, art resources that you spent on it that you can never get back, and the other game suffers because of it. So I think it was pretty prudent in us looking at that and making the decision when we did to let it go and focus on the rest of the game, which I think we did a pretty good job of delivering that G.I. Joe experience to everyone. So.
Okay. Now, great answer. Now, this is what I have to say personally, because I'm a passionate gamer, and you guys don't get a whole lot of limelight like you deserve, in my opinion. So when I talk to you guys, it's an honor. You know what I'm saying? Now, listen. In my opinion, I feel on the movie creators part, I think that it's stupid, and it's also doing a disservice to the company. The reason why I say that is because if you have a game and you know what you can do, but you're forced to release it in a way where you're not fully happy with it just because you know what you could have done more, it's not all about releasing it real fast and getting that quick money. It's about, the gamers out there that appreciate, G.I. Joe and these movie-based games that come out. They want a great experience. And for them to suffer just because the movie companies want to make a quick buck so it can come out day and date, delay the movie so the game could be right. Or something you know what I mean? And I know it's easier said than done, but common sense is common sense, and common sense is applied in business as well. And the thing that hurts, in my opinion, because I try to look at it from your point of view, if I'm a game developer and my name and my hard work is on a game, but I can't put my all into it because of a certain deadline a movie company gives me, and I put it out, and let's say it don't turn out as good as I wanted it to, then a lot of the fans and gamers blame us for it. You know what I'm saying? They'll blame the developers for it, when technically it's not really y'all fault. You know what I mean? You're on the timeline. So that's why I had to ask that question, because I've seen a lot of the review scores, and I'm not going to even lie. A lot of review scores, was like low scores, and I was like,
yeah, and actually I'd like to talk about that as well. So one thing that you need to understand when you look at those review scores is that a lot of those reviewers are coming from a hardcore gamer's perspective, where they're not really considering the audience that we made the game for. They're considering the audience as being them, and these are guys that are like hardcore guys. They're really into like the FPS shooters that have pretty deep systems and mechanics in them. And the reality is that this is made for the fan of G.I. Joe that has been around for 45 years. G.I. Joe is a pretty it's a franchise that's been around since I was a little kid, and since my older brothers were little kids, and so on. So there's a lot of those fans that aren't necessarily hardcore gamers that still want to have a fun, semi-casual experience, and also want to have some experiences that are based on 80s arcade games. A lot of the Twitch games that have a lot of pattern recognition and pattern avoidance. Excuse me. And there's a large group of consumers out there that don't have access to the gaming forums and aren't necessarily in the mainstream or the core gamer media that are giving it bad reviews because their expectations are different for it. Now, if you look at some of the more mainstream media and everything, we're actually getting good reviews. We're getting the 75s and 80s with a lot of these other more casual mainstream media out there, which is really who we were designing this game more for, the masses rather than the core gamer.
Wow.
It's not to say that I think, in the future or something I'd like to do, I'd definitely like to make that game for a more hardcore gamer, but that wasn't this game. That wasn't the intention of this game. So I think that the reviewers need to kind of do a better job of understanding the context and who we're trying to sell this game to and market the game to and build the game for, and review it with that perspective.
Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm so happy that you said that. Now, me on my show, I get criticized a lot on my show because most of the games I review, I give like 9s and 9.5s to. Most of the games I review, and that's just because, I'm not just a hardcore gamer. I'm a gamer, period. So I understand the different types of games that come out. So the fact that it's so different, you got to have an open and different mind. Everything isn't the same. So I'm so glad you said that. Now, me personally, I'm going to tell you, I was sitting down, me and my homegirl, we was playing the game together. We was playing G.I. Joe together. She told me I can't continue playing until she comes back over and play with me. Alright, so I'm telling you, we sitting there playing the game. What I want to commend you guys on, because I know how the situation is with movie-based games, is that the actual gameplay is very, very good. I'll give you an example. I love how you guys had added that teleport base where you can switch your G.I. Joes in the middle of a fight. That's crazy. I like the fact that you guys got the vehicles in there. Honestly, I feel it could have controlled a little better, but I do like the fact that the vehicles is there. I love the fact that the shooting is real unique, how you could just push the analog in a certain direction and you just be shooting and shooting. You guys got a cover system with that joint. You got and then ultimate, when you push triangle and it goes G.I. Joe, oh my god, that kills it right there. So
yeah, that almost didn't make it in the game, by the way. What? It's kind of interesting. Yeah. So
oh my god.
Well, the thing is that this is kind of a little funny story for you.
Okay.
Clearly, you grew. I don't know how old you are. If you grew up watching the cartoons or anything.
I'm 26 and I love G.I. Joe, dog.
Okay, so I grew up with the cartoons, and this is something that after school you'd come home and you watch the G.I. Joe cartoons, and that was it. And so that theme song was so iconic, and as soon as I heard, as soon as I was offered the job to come and work on G.I. Joe, the first thing I thought was that song has to be in the game, and it wasn't really being promoted as something that was critical for it, and it's just like, no, really, guys, it's got to be in the game somewhere. I don't think it's a theme song for the game, but power up, something we got to do for it. And we actually had to have someone in our worldwide music group hunt for, I don't know how many weeks she spent.
Wow.
But she spent weeks trying to figure out who owned the rights to that song, because we contacted Hasbro. Hasbro no longer had the documentation or the knowledge of who owned the music for it.
Wow.
And their legal team spent, I don't know, a month and a half, 2 months trying to track it down, and they couldn't. And it took this woman named Beverly in our worldwide music group. She's just she's a master at what she does, and she tracked it down to these two guys, and they ended up giving us the deal for it, and that's how it got in the game.
Wow.
So we almost didn't have it. So little stuff like that happens all the time. Little things that we're trying to get done here and there that are on the cusp of getting getting cut or get cut because we can't get something done with it, you know?
Well, I'm telling you right now, that game, the best thing about that game, I love the dialogue to it because it seems like there's a lot of talking, a lot of interaction, so you feel more into the game because it keeps you upbeat. But the ultimate thing about the game is how it has this arcadey feel. Like, it's like if you just went to the arcade, put a quarter in, and just started playing, and hours go past, and your mom's telling you gotta leave now. It's like one of those feelings you get when you play the game, and that's amazing because